There is now research out that strength training might make us live longer.
Yeah, there's been quite a few studies recently coming out that found longevity benefits just from strength training.
We're often told you need to run more, cycle more, do more steps, but what if cardio isn't actually the best thing for your health? What if it's this? I am a bit of a gym bunny myself, and strength training, which is when you use weights or your own body to build muscle, is having a bit of a moment. A new study found that lifting weights could actually help you live longer. So today we're talking about the benefits of strength training and how much you need to do to start getting the gains. I'm Hannah, and this is What in the World from the BBC World Service.
And I've got our health correspondent, Melissa Hogenboom, with us here in the studio. Hi, Melissa.
Thanks for having me.
Melissa, how much strength training do you do?
Well, I'm not going to lie, I am a runner and I've always practiced team sports. I've not really been too active in the gym. In fact, I really don't like the gym. I find it off-putting, it's noisy, it's intense. But the more I've been looking into the science of health and well-being, the more I've been coming across research that shows that we all should be adding strength training into our lives. And what's most fascinating about it is we can just start doing it at home. We don't have to go to the gym to benefit. So instead of going to the gym, what I've been doing is lifting my shopping back and forth, doing squats when my kettle's on. And even in between meetings, you know, I've got a resistance band here. I'll just pull that back and forth together 10 times, maybe twice, 3 times a day. And so these are tiny little strength training exercises, but over the day they do build up.
I know a lot of people are intimidated by the gym, but I love it. I love the music, I love the people, I love working out. I go maybe 3 or 4 times a week and I do lift both like legs, upper body, abs, and I found it's really changed my body and made me feel a lot more confident in my body as well. But it's not just how it makes us feel, it's not just about how we look. There is now research out that strength training might make us live longer. How does that work? How else is it good for us?
Yeah, there's been quite a few studies recently coming out that found longevity benefits just from strength training. And so this new one in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, it looked at almost 150,000 people over 30 years. So that's when you know a study's got a big effect. So it's not just measuring, you know, a few years. And it found a decrease in all-cause mortality of about 13% from only 90 minutes to 2 hours a week. I say only, that's actually quite a lot. But there was loads of other benefits too. It reduces the risk of diabetes, blood pressure, dementia even. And if you combine it with other forms of exercises like running, there's actually a 58% decrease in mortality. So you literally live longer by incorporating strength training into your life. And I think that's so fascinating.
When we talk about longevity, we talk about anti-aging, living longer, and our muscles actually change as we age, which is why these studies are showing benefits over time as people get older. How do our bodies, our muscles change as we age?
As we reach our 30s, our bone density and muscle mass starts to decrease. It starts to decrease more as we age. And this can have knock-on effects on strength, stability, muscle, simply not being able to lift things as much. And the less you do, the less energized you feel. And actually, one of the biggest reasons that strength training is so beneficial for as we age is because when your muscles get weaker, everyday tasks become more difficult. And so currently, you know, it might take you 20 to 30% of your body energy to stand up. But as you age, that rises and rises. And the less you do, because it feels more challenging, the less you want to do, and your muscles will start to decline even more. So it's about building up reserve. That's so important. There's the assumption that you have to go to the gym to benefit. You have to lift these big weights. People don't have them at home. But actually, the research points out that your muscles don't care if you're lifting a bottle of water, or as I was doing a large shopping bag full of bread flour the other day. It just matters that you're increasing resistance and giving your muscles kind of a workout until it feels like it's no longer manageable.
So you said it was between 90 minutes, 1.5 hours and 2 hours per week. Is that what we should all be doing? Can you actually do too much?
I think before we get to the 90 minutes, 2 hours mark, we need to think that the biggest benefits you get is from nothing to some. And so I think that's a really empowering message, because 2 hours can feel quite intimidating, and that's kind of the longevity benefits. But even if you do 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, there's dramatic impacts on the well-being of your health and even your mental health. I think if you do more than 2 hours, there isn't much more benefit in terms of reducing your mortality. But obviously your muscles will continue to adapt and strengthen. So in terms of how you look and how you feel, you don't need to limit yourself, I don't think.
And we have been speaking to a personal trainer and a nutritionist about this. This is Luke Hanna.
Muscle mass starts to naturally decline by about 3 to 8% per decade after the age of 30. And you should care about this because muscle wasting is significantly associated with higher all-cause mortality risk, cancer and cardiovascular disease. Muscle is also metabolically active tissue that acts like a sponge for blood sugar, helping to regulate glucose levels and support overall metabolic health. As muscle mass declines, so does your ability to manage blood glucose effectively, increasing your risk of conditions like type 2 diabetes. We also see a decline in functional capacity, movement quality, balance, independence, and your ability to perform everyday tasks, which impacts your quality of life. But don't wait till your 30s to start. The earlier you build these habits and incorporate strength training into your routine, the better.
Thanks for sending us that, Luke. And we have been hearing from a female weightlifter about why she got into it.
My name is Adrienne Vella. I'm a fitness and nutrition coach in Austin, Texas. I love to strength train because it helps me build mind-body resilience and confidence that translates into my everyday life as a business owner, coach, and mom. For any woman who is interested in learning how to strength train, it is never too late to start. You simply need to invest in acquiring the skills and the knowledge that you need to get started.
Melissa, we've been talking about the benefits of strength training. Of course, it can help you live longer, help your muscles, but there are also risks, especially if people are starting out.
I think the biggest risk is hearing how much you feel you have to do, so twice a week, and going to the gym and suddenly lifting the heaviest weight you can, feeling demotivated, pulling a muscle, getting injured, and then not coming back. So I think for me, the wider message is start small, start manageable, even if it's 5 minutes a day. Don't dive straight into the big machines, don't go on a dump, don't lift one of those big heavy dumbbells, but lift something more manageable. And experts I've spoken to in the past say sometimes the machines, if you are in the gym, are actually slightly less intimidating because they already have set parameters for you, whereas the free lifts, you need to know a little bit more about what you're doing in terms of how many reps to do. Some of them require someone to actually help, so you
need a spotter, don't you?
Spot you, You've got the right word. And so I think you just need to adapt to what your body is capable of. And that's why there doesn't tend to be set advice, because everybody has a different starting point. If you are quite strong because you're doing a lot of other exercise, maybe your body can adapt a little bit quicker. But if you've done nothing at all, or if you're slightly older, starting at a really low bar.
When I first started out and felt intimidated by the free weights, I just went and asked one of the guys working at the gym to show me how it all worked.
And they love it.
Yeah, and to know kind of what weight I should be lifting. So is this for everyone? Can people start too young? Is there a danger of lifting weights if you're too young?
Obviously, if you haven't reached puberty yet, you need to be wary of the right diet and the right muscle training. But increasingly, research shows that it's never too late to start and it's never too early to start. As long as you're adapting to your own body strength, you're aware of what you're capable of, you're not overdoing it, you're not risking injury, and you're seeking advice, because depending on any previous risks or injury, if you've got back problems, that's the point at which you need to perhaps take some tailored advice. But otherwise, the best thing to do is focus on exercises that target several muscles at once. So things like squats and press-ups, they're a really good place to start. What I also love about psychological research is when we surround ourselves with people that exercise, it's actually really motivating and encourages you to do it as well. So find someone to be accountable to, set a time to do it together, set a challenge, then you're more likely to continue over time, because if you dive straight into it, the risk is that you'll get bored quite quickly.
Yeah, that's what I find. I find it's a really sociable place and that the same people hang out there all the time.
Yeah, and it's a really welcoming place because everybody likes to show improvements and everybody and that endorphins as well. I think that's one of the biggest reasons I exercise. I don't love it in the moment, but I really feel that high after I come back.
I do too. Melissa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So obviously you don't want to injure yourself, so make sure you get your technique right. And just throwing it open to you guys, do you strength train? Leave us a comment below. But now, time to get back to the set. I'm Hannah, and this is What in the World from the BBC World Service. See you next time.